My name is Shae Dornan. I'm a writer and director based out of Los Angeles, and I recently released a short film called Almost Normal that I wrote and directed.
Hi, my name is Abigail Carver, and I was assistant director on Almost Normal.
Hello, my name is Miguel Ramirez, and I am the director of photography, sound mixer, editor, producer, and I believe that's it for Almost Normal.
So in the pre-production process, and especially writing, I feel like you always sort of have a vision in mind, especially if it's a project that you're also directing. And since the whole abstract part of it was really important to me and how I wanted this represented, I was really worried that it wouldn't come across on screen in the way that I wanted to. It is left to interpretation. I want people to take away whatever they want, but I was worried that in how it turned out, it wouldn't quite be what I was going for. I was very pleasantly surprised with how it turned out.
Working with Shae, it was the first time I had worked with her on one of her projects. And pre-production, she was very prepared and was able to share her vision in a way that really made sense so that on the day of, we were all connected and shared the same vision, I think. And yeah, I think she's just very on it, and I was excited from the beginning, I guess.
Working with Shae Dornan was fine for the most part. I would say that she was someone who was strongly motivated to specific ideas and really had to be guided to have her ideas trusted with someone else. So she would describe how she wanted them to look. If you're a DP and an editor and you know the pre-production process and the post, it's like you've shot this kind of scene before, you know how this is going to come across. You kind of need to help someone see how their scene is going to look. And I think that in Shae's case, there were some moments where she wasn't as sure how the final product was going to look. And when it came to finally getting to the finish line and actually seeing where those scenes were getting to and how they came out in the end, they were much, better than her expectations. There was one scene in particular that it was the piano scene where we had light coming in through the curtains, and so you get this kind of, this deep close-up of Melody Wan's character, and then kind of like the light illumination from the background. And so from this scene, it just kind of like really, pops out. And I'm thinking of it in like the contrast sense, like the black and white, the shadow and light. And, I'm seeing like these interesting visuals. And like for her, she's like kind of like seeing it, but not as sure. And so I'm, trying to help her. Like there's something in the scene, just, let's shoot it and you'll see what I'm talking about. And so when we shot it and then we were able to, put it together, then it produced what she was expecting. And so like sometimes you do have to help, guide someone to the things that they want.
So in writing, I had a very specific vision in mind for how I wanted this to look. And usually I feel like with most projects, especially if it's something you're directing as well, it turns out being quite a bit different. It's usually a good thing. Once you have more collaboration involved, things can change. In this case, it turned out almost spot on for what I had in mind in a way that I think worked really well. I was very pleasantly surprised and very happy with how it turned out.
Melody was awesome. She was completely professional, and then as soon as we started rolling and everything, it just, I don't know, it's kind of crazy to see how characters can come to life, like separate from the actor. So Melody was really on it and really focused and kind. And I mean, she's the reason that the movie is so turned out so well, I think.
Melody is a really new actress, but you wouldn't be able to tell by working with her. She was extremely professional and extremely talented. She brought her own ideas to the film that helped to really make it what it ended up being. Very easy to work with and really fun. I think she's the main reason I think it really turned out the way that it did.
Working with Melody Wan was actually really good. We didn't quite talk as much. It was very much rush on the day of. It was a 2 hour time frame at the studio in Los Angeles. And as soon as the clock struck the 10 o'clock, we were rushed in. We set everything up that we needed to, set up the microphones, the cameras, the lenses. Melody got her period piece outfit on, and we're off to the races. And I think it was probably the climax of the scene, I would say, where I have the camera stationed, and then so Shae's on my left side, Abby's on my left side, and so we're going through this emotional scene. And so it's sort of like when someone's not comfortable or they're kind of just unsettled, they kind of do this thing where it's like, and you begin to see the director and the assistant director just sort of like, not immediate, but kind of gradually, like, just this slow build of tension from the performance of Melody Wan. And she goes through this entire emotional scene. And as soon as the scene is finished, she just, like, almost on the spot, just looks around, waits for the cut cue like a professional, and then immediately just cracks up like, oh, okay, that was good, and just knows her performance was good, feels that her performance was good, and it's just like a sign of a true professional when they could deliver that exceedingly well and break out of that character in a second and not think twice about it.
So in casting for this film, the actress has to do quite a bit of the heavy lifting. It's very visual heavy. There's no actual dialogue. So I knew that the actress would have to be able to express a lot in a short amount of time. So in auditioning people, I used a scene from the film I, Tonya that came out a few years ago. There's a very emotional, pivotal scene in the film where the character of Tonya Harding is putting makeup on. And she's going through a lot of different emotions in that scene while just looking in a mirror. So I had a few different actresses who were interested submit an audition with that scene so that I could really get a sense of what they could emote on their faces without any dialogue. The actress we went with, Melody Wan, extremely talented. She nailed it and managed to make it wholly unique. She didn't try to copy what the previous actress had done. It was really impressive, and you can really see her skills in the film. I think with this production, I have directed in the past, but with this production in particular, I think it was a good reminder of being flexible, especially on set, and being open to things changing. I am really happy with how the film turned out, and I think that it was a spot on to what I had in mind as possible. But it was still an interesting experience in getting to pivot around a new set that I hadn't been to before, having to really take things as they come. I can be a really serious control freak, so having to let that element go and embrace the area that we were in and the set that we had really helped teach me a lot about being a director, sort of taking on that lead role on a set.
I think kind of like I said before, like her level of preparation and planning and all that really helped so that on the day of, we could really work. How do I put this? I guess we were just like a well-oiled machine, I think. And I think that was because of Shae. And I think what I learned from that is to just be a better planner, probably, for the sake of everybody on set. I think with this project, I learned more about the flexibility that you need to make a film. Because like, even though I said things went pretty smoothly, that doesn't mean that it's perfect or like exactly how you plan. So to have that kind of flexibility to keep things rolling and move on from something is, I guess, what I learned on this project.
On the film production day, we had never actually been, or I personally had never been to the studio that we were shooting at. So there's always a challenge in trying to actually block out scenes if you've never been in the space before in a short amount of time. We only had a 2-hour window to shoot everything. One of the scenes in particular, we knew we'd only be able to do in one take. So trying to get everything in place and shot all within that time frame was extremely challenging. But I think we succeeded, and I'm thrilled with how everything worked out, including the one take that Melody did. I think if I'm going to impart anything, it's that if you're a creative person at all or have any creative drive, to go for it. I myself, like many other people in Los Angeles, have worked many different jobs. I have a different day job that I do regularly, but filmmaking is still extremely important to me. So if you have any creative drive, there are plenty of other people in similar positions, and they're out there waiting to work with you. So I would just lean into your creative side. Try and find people who are interested in making projects with you and actually make them, because it's possible. It's totally possible.
I guess my message would be to make movies if that's what you're interested in, and find your community and find your people, I guess. And yeah, if you have an idea that you think is worth sharing, then you should find the way to do that.
A lasting message or statement that I would take away, or a lasting message or statement I would leave on is, if you have pursuits or if you have something of interest you want to go after or pursue, then you should go after it and pursue it.